you have one guess as to what I'm making today. Welcome back, friends. It's Anders. Today we are making the Moscow Mule. 12 times, because the Moscow Mule has an amazing number of variations. You name it, there's a mule for it. So I'm gonna show you how I make my standard classic Moscow Mule. It is a little different. And then I'm gonna make some of those other variations. And then I gathered up some bottles from around here at the bar, and I'm gonna throw it in a mule to see how it works. My theory is that it's probably gonna work pretty well. And I will also, of course, cover the history. If you don't like the history, you can skip ahead. That's why I leave timestamps down below. But if you really like the history, like you really, really like the history, then slow it down and watch it in slow-mo. Let's go make some mules to the bar. Back in 1941, at a bar called the Cock and Bull in Los Angeles, California, there was a gentleman named Jack Morgan who owned the bar, and he was sitting on a lot of ginger beer. Now, he had a friend named John Martin who owned a distribution company and had recently acquired Smirnoff vodka. But there's one problem. Nobody is drinking vodka in the 1940s in the United States. So he had loads of vodka he needed to unload. So he went to his friend Jack, and I realized these names are very similar. Jack, Morgan, John Martin. John, the vodka guy, went to his friend Jack at the bar, and he said, all right, you've got a problem, you need to move ginger beer? And Jack goes, you got a problem, you need to move vodka? What do we do? So they sat down and they had to come up with a drink that they could sell to the public. Now, the story gets kind of weird here because some people say, well, Jack had a girlfriend who was in the copper business. Some people say, no, there was this stranger named Sophie Berezinski who designed a copper mug, and she happened to walk into the bar when Jack and John were talking about what they were gonna do to sell their products, and she said, well, I got an idea. You put it in this, people will love it. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know, because some other stories say, no, it was actually just a bartender at the Cock and Bull named Wes Price who came up with this drink, which is actually a very believable story. What's important here is that John, the vodka guy, was brilliant when it came to marketing. He took his bottle of Smirnoff vodka and a copper mug, and he went around to various bars taking pictures of bartenders holding these two things, saying, this is the new thing, it's the Moscow Mule. And he would take a picture, two pictures, he would give one to the bartender, and then he would take the other one and he would go to the next bar, and he'd say, man, I was just over at that other bar. Look what they're making. They got this great copper cup, people love it, it's really taken off. So that bartender's saying, well, I gotta have that. I need to have that copper mug. I need to have that vodka. So he said, oh, well, I've got that. Here you go. Let me take your picture. And he did this all around town. And before he knew it, everybody knew about the Moscow Mule and how cool this drink was because it was served in a copper cup. It was designed to sell vodka, specifically Smirnoff vodka. It was designed to sell ginger beer. Also designed to sell copper mugs, I guess. All right, real quick, I want to talk about the copper mug. This one is lined on the inside with a non-reactive metal, and I would suggest the same for you. Now, there is something called copper toxicity. Over time, if you have an acidic beverage in a copper vessel, 100% pure copper vessel, the copper is leached out of the cup and you can ingest that. And you don't want too much copper in your body. It's bad. Bad things happen. Some will say it takes a long time for that copper to leach out into your drink, but I say better safe than sorry. So get a lined copper mug such as this one. Now the booze. For the Moscow Mule, you will need vodka, fresh lime juice, ginger ale or ginger beer, Angostura bitters, and fresh mint. Vodka, lime, fresh. Ginger ale, you can use ginger ale if it's really spicy. Otherwise, ginger beer. And ginger beer is pretty much the standard. You could also do soda water and a ginger syrup. You could make your own ginger syrup to whatever strength you want. Or if you want a store-bought syrup, I highly recommend, as usual, Library & Company. They make a fiery ginger syrup that is extremely hot and really wonderful. It also adds a bit of texture to the drink, so that is also a good option. Angostura bitters, this is not called for in the original Moscow Mule, but it's really good in there. It makes the drink more interesting, and I highly suggest you try it. Mint, this is the garnish. You get a big bouquet of mint. You'll see I like to put a big sprig of mint on there. Most people just do a lime wheel. That's fine. But if you got it, use it. All right, so let's go ahead and make the basic Moscow Mule, and then we will go and build all the other mules. Let's build. Okay, all right. In the vessel, grab some ice. Let's put the ice in. We're gonna just fill it up. So I'm gonna start with the vodka. I'm gonna do 2 ounces of vodka, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 2 good dashes of Angostura bitters. Actually, I'm gonna go 3. These dashes are really small. And then we top it off with ginger ale or ginger beer. All right, this is gonna be about 4 ounces, I would say. Probably closer to 5. Depending on your cup, gonna give it a little stir, and then a big sprig of mint. Give it a smack, drop it right in, ta-da. That was pretty simple. The Moscow Mule. Cheers. Take a quick sip while it's fresh. Definitely get mint. Light, refreshing. I think the bitters is important. Easy drinking, crowd pleaser. So now we can set this off to the side and try some other mules. So now the fun part. We get to move the vodka aside and pull in all like other kinds of stuff. So going down the line, I've got gin, silver tequila, Jamaican rum, bourbon, single malt, Islay Scotch, cognac, pisco, absinthe, Batavia Arac, Fernet Branca, and Malort. The first half are gonna be renditions you probably have heard of. The second half, probably not. So let's build. Round 2. All right, so I'm gonna make these a little differently than I did before. I'm gonna hold off on the ice because I don't want it to melt right away. I've got a lot of ground to cover before I can add the ice. Now, some of these are much bigger flavor than vodka, so I'm gonna adjust the ratios as I see fit. There we are, 11 mules. All right, okay, so first we're gonna go from this end to this end. The first one is the gin. London Mule is a pretty common name for this one. I did put bitters in all of them because I wanted to keep it consistent, and that's how I like my mules. So, the London Mule. Cheers. I like it better than the Moscow Mule. Bright botanicals, still very crisp, refreshing. We're gonna keep this moving. Tequila, known as a Mexican Mule. Cheers. I'm glad we went with the silver tequila. You can taste the tequila. It's not too soft. Tequila-y with a little bite. This is essentially the El Diablo minus the creme de cassis. Next up, Jamaican rum. I cut back this ratio a little bit because this Jamaican rum in particular, the Smith & Cross, is really strong, bold flavor. With the spicy ginger, this should be really tasty. Jamaican Mule. And that is outstanding. So far, that is my favorite. With the ginger, that bold spice, really good. On to the bourbon. This is called a Kentucky Mule because that's where bourbon comes from originally. You can make bourbon anywhere in the United States. We're not gonna talk about that now. Kentucky Mule. Whew, that ginger's getting to me. Okay, on to the Kentucky Mule, also known as a horse feather. Cheers. Oh, bourbon and ginger is a combination that I fell in love with long ago, and that got me into whiskeys. Really like this one. Typically I make it with lemon juice, so try it with lemon. Works with lime too though. On to the next one. Islay Scotch, a single malt Islay, the Lefroy 10-year. Big, peaty, smoky Scotch with spicy ginger. This is gonna be fire in your mouth. Cheers. Oh, these are also good. Okay, here's what's happening. The flavors are getting bigger and my mouth is probably getting dumber because there's so much spice and flavor. I did cut this one back from the 2 ounces. It's 1.5 ounces. You could probably go down to just 1 ounce and still taste it, but I do like it. Next, we have cognac. Love me some cognac. This one, I believe, is called a French Mule. Cheers. Super easy. I did go the full 2 ounces on this one. Remarkably smooth, very soft, especially compared to the previous 3. I fear I may have killed my taste buds with the Islay Scotch. The next one is Pisco, which I anticipate is gonna be soft as well. This would be a Peruvian Mule because this is a Peruvian Pisco. If you use a Chilean Pisco, I would call it a Chilean Mule. Cheers. Oddly enough, I do taste the Pisco. That's really nice. Yeah, there's like a fruity element to it. That's really good. I really do like the Pisco. I've never had that before. You saw it here live. Not live, this was recorded ahead of time. Next, absinthe. I actually thought I was thinking outside of the box here, but I looked online and this is called a Bohemian Mule. It's a thing. Cheers. Ooh, it's a thing for a reason. That's really tasty. I did a full 1.5 ounces in there too. That's a lot of absinthe. See, here we're getting bigger flavors, but yeah, I definitely get absinthe. On to the next one. I'm gonna call this one the Indonesian Mule, made with Batavia Arac, known as Indonesian rum, but it's made from sugarcane and red rice, this one in particular. To me, it kind of tastes like shoes, in a good way. There was actually a time in my life where I was drinking this on the rocks. It was a rough patch. I grew to really like this stuff, so cheers. I definitely get a hint of shoe. Might not be for everybody. This is more of an acquired taste, but mixes really well. I really like it, and I can taste it, which is good. Now the Fernet. I cut this one way back. 2 ounces would be too much. This is 1 ounce of Fernet. Cheers. Yeah, so far I'm proving that this theory works. That's really good. If you like Fernet, this is a refreshing Fernet drink. Kind of reminiscent of Fernet and Coke, really big in Argentina. Hate all my Argentinian friends. Whew. On to the last. Jeppson's Malort. Notorious for tasting bad. This is the true test. If this works in here, then we have discovered the ultimate cocktail formula. We will call this the Chicago Mule. Cheers. The Chicago Mule sucks. It's really good up front. It's bright, you get the spice, it's kind of grapefruity, and then all of a sudden your tongue turns on you and it just tastes like hairspray. That is Malort. I think that's part of its charm. You might like it. People might really like it. I just don't. And I only did 1 ounce. Oz,
okay,
welcome.
I'm curious. I'm gonna try the rum. Whoa.
Okay. What do you think?
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to skip. I wanna try absinthe. Yeah.
Yeah, you get absinthe.
You get absinthe.
There's a chance you might not like this.
Okay, Batavia Iraq. That's good.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna go with the Fernet because I know I don't like Fernet.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you don't like
I don't
Fernet.
like Fernet. Oh. Ugh. No. Well, if you like Fernet, I'm sure you'll love it. If you don't like Fernet, it won't make you like Fernet. Okay, Malort. Oh.
She loves it.
Okay. You know what? I like this better than the Fernet one. That's how much I hate Fernet. Maybe that's just what that means. Back to you, Anders.
Thank you kindly. In conclusion, top 3 for me. Definitely the Jamaican rum. I gotta say the bourbon was really, really good. And I think the Batavia Iraq would be my 3rd. What I wanted to do was swap out the base spirit, which I did, and it worked for the most part. But I do think whatever you use, give it a shot. Like, don't be scared to mix with whatever you want. It's your bar, it's your booze. I would probably pick all of these above the Moscow Mule. That's just me. What fun! Like and subscribe. I will see you next week. Be good, enjoy your booze responsibly. Maybe don't do all this at once. Get some friends. I'll see you next time. Cheers.